Saturday night shooting at the Washington Hilton Hotel is now being called a targeted, politically motivated attack. And this morning, we're learning the suspect got closer to the ballroom than first reported. Federal charges are expected today as questions grow about how he breached security at one of Washington's most protected events, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Joining us now is Snipe, a former Secret Service special agent in charge, to break down what took place. So, Marcus, let's start with this event, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Popular event. Walk us through the layers of Secret Service protection and if you saw those layers take place in this incident.
Yeah, sure, Isha. So with any event with the Secret Service where the president's involved or any protecting of the Secret Service is involved, there's a certain ring of security that we put in place. We put in place an outer perimeter, a middle perimeter, and an inner perimeter. And it's just, what I described, the outer perimeter being, in this case, the exterior of the Hilton Hotel, the middle perimeter being inside the hotel, outside the ballroom, and inside the ballroom itself kind of being the inner perimeter, right? So that protocol is set up for every security event that the Secret Service protects or is in charge of. And that was the case here in Washington, D.C. for the Correspondents' Dinner as well.
And let's talk specifically about the Hilton Hotel. So clearly from the surveillance video where we see the suspect, barging into the ballroom, that's going to be that middle you're talking about. Now, the body language of some of the Secret Servicemen, it wasn't in an at attention, we're on guard sort of stance. So if you've seen that surveillance video, let's talk about how that breach happened there in the middle.
Sure. So, and having done security advances at that Washington Hilton for that event and having been a supervisor for that event, I can tell you exactly pretty much how they went about setting up the security at that particular ballroom. Each event at that Washington Hilton is different, obviously. But for this event, the security protocol actually worked. And I know people or there's talk about, hey, how can someone with a weapon get that close? But that checkpoint where he approached and he encountered those agents, that's exactly what that checkpoint was set up there to do, was to encounter some individual who was trying to breach that security perimeter and them being the first line of defense. Okay, so that worked. That security apparatus was in place and it worked. Now, at the Washington Hilton Hotel, there are several factors, and I know there's talk about, hey, how can he get into the hotel where the president was going to, attend an event? When you ask that question, you have to realize the Washington Hilton, they house over 1,000 guests. They have over 1,000 guest rooms in that hotel. Internationally, at some hotels, yes, every guest goes through magnetometers. They put their bags through, they get checked, they get searched, so on and so forth. We don't do that here in the United States. But we do for an event like this is, okay, now we have to segment the general public from the actual event. Right? And the way you do that is, hey, the way they set up that perimeter is we have to allow guests to traverse that aren't involved with this event the way they normally would in a hotel, using the elevators, so on and so forth. You have the American Disabilities Act, where elevators have to be accessible to people with wheelchairs. So you have to have that elevator accessible. So what you do is, hey, you push that perimeter out as far as you can. So the first time the general public gets on that floor, boom, they're encountered by some checkpoint, which was set up and put in place.
All right, we got about 25 seconds here. Do you think this changes how the Correspondents' Dinner will be held going forward?
Yes, I do. I think now you're going to look at pushing that security perimeter out more, having a little bit more of a robust security check for people entering that hotel before that event starts, looking for bags, looking for packages.
Yeah.
And this, I have to remind you too, real quickly, is this suspect was a lone wolf.
Yeah.
Wasn't a known terrorist, wasn't part of a terrorist organization. This is the thing you fear and the hardest thing to protect against. Someone who's like
Yeah.
mentally unstable and wants to do harm.
All right. Well, we thank you for your expertise.